Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And there's a few things that I thought that have you noticed how years are literally whizzing by, right? I mean, it's been happening for more than 20 years since we've noticed how years literally are whizzing by. And have you noticed how it's only getting faster? For example, just look at this year alone. We literally just began this year. We hadn't even got our wits about us, and we're about to end this year, you know. And obviously, those of us who are Muslims, we already know about this phenomenon. We knew that this was going to happen, and I guess that's why we're more acutely aware of it, because this is that time, one of those milestones marked by the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he said that the time will come when years will pass by like months, months will pass by like days, days will pass by like hours, and hours will pass by like minutes and all, right? So this is exactly where we are at. As I said, I started noticing it more than 20 years ago, but in fact 25 years ago to be yeah, around that time. And now, as I said, now it's just getting faster and faster. And I was thinking that this is actually one of the reasons also why when people now give their warranties, responsible companies, again, who have confidence in their products, you will notice that they're increasing their warranties too. That shows confidence, obviously. So for example, if you have companies like Dollins, they always had a longer span of warranty on their products, as compared to even Hire or other products in Pakistan, right? And that is why, to be honest, I've always gravitated towards Dollins. I prefer Dollins, but our luck is such that we have always ended up buying stuff from Hire. Most of our appliances are from Hire. But to be honest, if you look at my personal preference, I would prefer Dollins, again, because it has always given me double the warranty. So the appliances that we have of Dollins, the thing is that they are really good at what at their claims. They make their claims good because mashallah, touch wood, you will have had their appliances for decades and have no problems. So it actually warrants the fact that they would give you 10 to 12 to 15 years warranties depending on whatever it is. Whereas Hire has only recently learned to increase its warranty in some of its stuff. But again, as I said, when you again go back to solar companies, one of the most worrying aspect of solar companies is, despite the fact that the panels, again, because you see those who are making the panels, they know the impact, they know how much money you're spending, they know what these panels are supposed to do, so they will always give you 20 to 25 years warranty, right? Which actually looks like a lot. It does, and it's pretty decent. But then when it comes to components such as batteries, and when it comes to inverters, now when it is on grid, off grid inverters, you get up to 10, 12 years warranty. But strangely, when it comes to hybrid inverters, you get 5 years, with only a few companies, like I think Inverx has this option where you can have an extended warranty. And I think there are one or two other companies that have this option where you can, within the first year, you can apply for an extended warranty or something. But generally, they always have 5 to 6 years warranty. And that is, again, because hybrids are usually supposed to be connected to a backup. But as I said, not everybody connects their hybrids to backup. So in that case, it is a bit worrying when you see that you're getting warranty for only 5 years, because when you look at 5 years, you're thinking, oh, okay. But then when you again realize how years are literally whizzing by, you realize that 5 years is actually not a decent period for warranty, because as I said, a whole year passes by before you can get your wits about you. Right now we are at 2025 and we're already finishing 2025. Remember how there was this whole noise, this whole hullabaloo about the millennium, and look at and remember how many movies and how many series and serials that were made, and how many fiction stories were made on what on what 2020 or 2025 or 2030 would look like. And obviously those of us who had our brains right here with common sense and practicality, we knew that it is a very slow process. As I said, technology is always there. Never think that the technology that is coming to you today isn't it's something new. No, it is something that was actually worked on decades ago. But as I said, our governments, you need to remember this, governments and authorities like to dictate, exploit, and monopolize technology. So, for example, remember solar technology, wind technology, hydro technology. You remember that. These are as old as our civilization can go way back to. This is not something new. But people in power, people in authority have always wanted to keep technology in check, and then they slowly, gradually bring it out. For example, computers again. Remember, as I told you, my dad bought his first computer in the 70s, and that was literally, it used to be a keyboard, and the keyboard was your whole computer. It had everything in it, and all you had to do was to connect it to any monitor, connect it to any TV, and use that as your whole PC, because everything was in that keyboard, and that keyboard was literally as small as your gigantic tablets today. Yes, it was literally the size of your tablets. So and you would see that, come to think of it, that technology was more advanced compared to now. You have these keyboards with these keys, and you have things soldered in, and you have the components, and you have you have limitations, and actually you have more limitations and restrictions compared to the computers in the 70s, where you could literally plug and play anywhere. So that more advanced, or this again when it comes to fridges? Who remembers the 50s and the 60s and the 70s fridges? They seems to have again a more advanced technology compared to fridges today. So actually we are downgrading or downsizing our technology. We're not upgrading or upscaling our technology. So again, that is why the year 2025 here is at an end, and you can see we basically haven't changed much. We feel we have changed a lot because all of a sudden we have this booming Wi-Fi based technology, where where your mobiles are your hotspots, and your mobiles are literally carrying everything within them. It's your diary, it's your notebook, it's your recorder, it's your camera, it's your it's your phone, it's everything, right? It's your computer. Like it's literally, it's in a way, it's like a mini tablet, really. So it's everything, a mini laptop, it's everything put together, right? So we feel that, oh yeah, we're making but again, remember, we're not, because this technology was there decades ago, and it was begrudgingly, slowly put forward. And again, when the technology is first put forward, it is put forward in its full form, in its full advanced form, like the computers of the 70s, or the fridges of the 50s. That is your full, they're showing you the full whole picture of the technology. And then suddenly again they start restricting, and they start limiting, and they downscale, and they downgrade, you understand, while making you think that they're actually upscaling, or they're upgrading, or they're bringing in a new technology. So that is the fun part here, that people probably don't even realize or understand. And again, those of you who have listened to some of my old podcasts, you would know that I actually do believe that each civilization before us, that came before us, they actually reached the levels of knowledge that were even more than what we've reached. In fact, they actually, all those civilizations reached the peak of their technology, information, knowledge, science, everything, before they were destroyed, or before they self-destructed. And each time the new civilization comes, it restarts, it starts from scratch, because all that knowledge, all that information, except for the foundations of it, all of it is destroyed with the previous civilization. It is eradicated, it can no longer be found, it is erased. So we always, and you will see that happen again when our civilization will reach what we think is our peak, which will still not be the peak of the previous civilizations, the way I see things going. Because again, as I said, ancient civilizations had reached that peak where they knew through math, you know, about the skies, about the parallel worlds. To them, parallel worlds or the different dimensions was not a new theory. It was something that it was part of their everyday lives. And yet today, to us, it is something that we're still struggling to understand and to find out and to even theorize, in the sense that we still have these debates going on as to whether it actually exists or not. So they may have called them by different names in the past civilizations, but to them these were part of their existence, as in this was something that was already true to existence. This was something that was never even a debate. You understand? So yes, I think we still have a long way to go if we compare ourselves with the ancient civilizations that reached their peaks and then got destroyed or completely vanished. So yeah, that's why, again, I would say, even in front of us, if as you notice, you will see we're downscaling technology, we're not upscaling it. So that in itself should tell you where we're going. Because remember, knowledge is as old as man. All this knowledge that we have, there's nothing new. There's nothing new here. All this knowledge that we have was had by civilizations before us, civilizations before them, civilizations before them, civilizations before them. So knowledge is as old as man. Okay? The first man on earth came and he had knowledge. He imparted that knowledge. Knowledge grew, it grew, it grew. People, and so that is why when you sit and wonder, oh, how is it that ancient civilizations could have made pyramids? Oh no, aliens were involved. Like, seriously, how is it that you actually cannot understand that humankind has been the same right from the start? Again, knowledge was always there right from the start. People utilized their skills, their knowledge, their science, their technology. People reached heights with science and technology that we think is not possible. Why? Because they were ancient civilizations? No. Remember, if you look at the Indus civilization alone, which is one of the oldest civilizations, again, if you look at their farming techniques, if you look at their agriculture, if you look at the fact as to how they planned towns, town planning with plumbing, with sewages, with drainage systems, with kitchens, with bathrooms, and with outlets. And I mean, it is exactly how you would do it today in the modern world. And today when you do it, you think you're being very advanced, until you suddenly go and see the Indus civilization, and if you see the remnants of their old towns, and you realize, oh my God, they were already doing it centuries ago. What are we doing new here? In fact, if anything, it looks as if we're copying them. It's as if we're literally copying them. Again, let me remind you that the whole canal network in Pakistan, originally, the original canal network that still stands today, albeit because the British came and they developed it a little more and they upgraded a little more, but this whole structure is from the Indus Valley civilization. It is as old as that. It was originally made by the same Indus Valley civilization, and it stands till date. So that should tell you something about ancient civilizations and knowledge in science and technology. So yeah, so I mean, again, and now we're at this point where, as I said, we are at this point now where time is literally flying by us. We're all aware of the fact that time is literally flying by us, which means that now when we profess to have a good technology or sound technology, and then we profess our confidence in that technology or that product, and then we say, oh, we're giving you only 1 year warranty or 3 year warranty or 4 year warranty or 5 year warranty, that actually says the opposite. It contradicts your claim of confidence, because again, I would say that if you look at companies that actually have confidence, they will give you up to 20-25 years of warranty, considering the product. Again, as so if you know the importance of using panels, for example solar panels, and you know the importance of sustainability, durability, and everything, and you know how much money is poured into it, and you know what it is actually there for, obviously only a fool would think that, oh, we can give 10-year warranty for that, right? You realize the importance here, you realize the dilemma here, you realize the risks here, and so you proclaim 20 to 25 years of warranty on your panels, right? So why? you're showing confidence, right? And also, again, that keeping in mind weather conditions and this and that and everything. So you're looking at that. And now panels have become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper because as well, they would claim technology is getting better and better and better. What actually is happening is that they're just now making things a little more easier. So things are getting cheaper, but the warranty stays. The warranty is always going to be 20-25 years, right? But again, I would say that they should now start increasing that too, because keeping in mind how time flies, because we don't have to. Again, the reason why we always used to think that having so many years of warranty is such a big deal and a great deal is, again, because you're counting years. But now, keeping in mind how years are literally months, the value of a year is literally that of a month now. So when you take that into account, I think all these warranties now, especially if they really do have confidence in their products, it should be increased by double. So for example, if your non-hybrid normal inverters, solar inverters, if they have 10 years warranty, you should take them up a notch, make them 15-20 years at least to match the panels. And if you are not so confident about your hybrids, because you feel that because hybrids one way or the other cannot be given that guarantee of a lifespan, considering that they're hybrids, okay, at least extend them to 10 years. And as I said, there are one or two companies that actually do extend a hybrid warranties for up to 10 years, right? But I think it shouldn't be that way. I think it should be the normal right now for warrantying inverters, because as I said, inverters are your whole system. There is no point in having a solar system if you don't have an inverter, because the inverter is the whole system. And if the inverter is something you're not confident about, if the inverter, which is again the whole system, if that is something that you're not getting value for money for, and you're not getting a decent amount of warranty time, then it's just not worth it. Because why would you then set up the whole system only to be in a state of panic after just a few years, which again, a few years now translates to a few months. 5 years? Yeah, to me, 5 years is 5 months. Because again, I would give you the example of Sky Electric. When Sky Electric, that calls itself a pioneer in its smart flow technology, integrated whatever. Although to me, either they just gave me a totally defected system then, because for 6 years I've been struggling with them. I've seen so many glitches, and I've seen so many software errors, and I've seen all of that translate to physical damage, right, to their system, right? And by system, I mean the inverter. It's always the inverter that ends up bearing the brunt of it. And at that time, they were so proud of their whole design and customization and everything. And they were like, oh, we're giving you 4 years of warranty of the inverter. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Okay, but still, and that time they argued that, nobody is giving this much warranty for their inverters and this and that. And yet, actually, no, the people were giving 5 years. People were giving, yes, there were some who were giving a year or two, but there were people who within months of their declaration, actually, more and more companies started upping their game by giving a full 10 years of warranty for their inverters, okay? But again, as I said, hybrids always somehow stick to 5 to 6 years standard, with some of them having the option for you to extend it to 10 to 12 years. Fine. But this is again very disturbing, because a hybrid system is actually the system that most people want to go for, backup or no backup. And when you have a hybrid system and then you have only a 5-year warranty, that is not something that somebody wants to go through, because you're spending all that. You need to understand, again, you're spending all that money on a solar system, and it should be worth it. So the panel manufacturers are making it worth it because they're giving you 20-25 years of warranty, but the components used in order to make that system actually work, if their manufacturers are not confident enough that they want you to spend, again, hundreds and thousands of rupees, which is, again, lakhs of rupees on on these components, on the batteries and on the inverters, and then they expect that, oh, you know what, just 2 years, 3 years, 5 years is good. It's not good. It's not good. Not good at all, because again, these are the things that you need for your system to actually work, you know. So because at the end of the day, again, you're dealing with production of electricity, you're dealing with consumption of electricity, you know. That is why when you're using your grid, your national grid, when you're using your grid power, there is no warranty there, right? I mean, it does. Have you ever heard of your national grid telling you that, oh, there's a warranty on the wires and on the cables and on the system? No, because obviously this is not something that you can put that on. So, but on solar, they think they can do that. Fine, it's understandable. You have components, you know, there. But again, if you have so much confidence in a system, then you should prove it by upping your game where the warranty is concerned. Again, I would say fridges, ACs, washing machines, they are also appliances, and these are heavy load bearing appliances in the sense that these are appliances. Look at your blenders, look at your food processors, you know, look at your toasters. All of these kitchen appliances that you use are high powered appliances. Look at your Hoover, you know, again, high powered appliances, and they go on for decades and decades and decades and decades, mashallah, mashallah, again. And you have warranties, again, worth of 10 years or, you know, like that, the likes. And again, why? Because these things are made to last. They're supposed to be made to last. And if a company decides to go all out on their capitalism and they decide to do a little bit of a hanky-panky, and then they also give you a very short warranty for their products, it means they're not confident, and so people are not going to get those products, right? So this is why actually when it comes to hire, for example, I do not gravitate towards hire except for its functionality. So it has all the functionalities that you need, the self-cleaning, this, that, but its warranty span is short. When you're talking about the split ACs, for example, the warranty is short. And I do not like products that have short warranties. And again, why would I gravitate towards Dolan's, for example, is because they have 10 to 12 years worth of warranty on their products. You know, and that includes the most important things, which is, you know, the most important components of their appliances. So I would always gravitate towards them. Unfortunately, some of their appliances do not have those kind of high functionalities that you're looking for, and then you find them in higher. So if Dolan's actually works on that, then I think they would gain 100% more, you know, in terms of customers. So yeah. Again, I would always gravitate towards a company that is so confident about their product that they are showing it by the number of years of warranty that they're giving you, you know. So 10, 15 years, 20 years, that shows that people are confident about their products. 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, that shows that, no, something's dodgy here. Something suspect here. This is not very good quality here. Something here is not of a very good quality that can cause some sort of a breakdown or a problem. You understand? So yeah, I personally, this is how I work when I go about things. And this is again why I would say that normally as a person, I actually hate complaining. So I prefer to go for things that I know that can give me some sort of a security in the sense that I don't have to complain. Because notice also, those that give you very long-term warranty, mashallah, their things never give you problems. You go decades without even knowing. I mean, nothing happens. But those that give you a short span of warranty, yeah, things happen. You know? So unless you're lucky. So yeah, this is the thing with companies and warranties. And again, as I said, because I'm not the kind to complain. I hate complaining. I'm that kind of a person that if, for example, if my bank has not satisfied me, I would just close down my account. And I've done that. When it's my own bank, my own accounts and everything, if I have even just one day of something that has gone wrong, and I feel that, oh, I'm no longer comfortable here, and I feel I have to go through complaints and this and that, I do not go and complain. All I do is I just quietly remove all my money and I shut down. And then obviously it starts, then they start calling you and emailing you, asking why, what happened, this, that. And then I tell them. And then, and in my mind, I'm like, if I have to tell you what went wrong and you don't even know what went wrong, then it wasn't worth it, And also, because just to prove my point, I have actually even once or twice tried that okay, I'll tell them what's wrong and I'll see what they do. When it comes to like, for example, again, Sky Electric, the best example for everything, or at the moment, 6 years. And again, the only reason I stuck with Sky Electric is because I didn't install this, I didn't choose this, I didn't pay for it. It's my parents, it's their house, it's their system, it's their everything. Fine. So I'm stuck with it. So they put the whole caboodle, and then they threw it all at me that, oh, you deal with it. Now you deal with it. So I've been dealing with them for 6 years. Believe me, if it was me, myself, if I had installed the system, if it was my money, if it was my house, if it was all me, the first time that they gave me a reason to complain, I would have just dismantled the whole system. I would have called them. I would have told them to take back their system, give me a refund, and to just bugger off. Because the one thing I hate the most is having to complain. If I feel that now it's going to become a long-term problem, which again in Sky Electric's case it is, so they need to decide if they actually gave a defective system to all their old clients, or it was just an experiment gone wrong and all. Because listen, generally there's nothing wrong, okay? Generally. But what happens is that literally every 2 to 3 months, there is a glitch in their system. That glitch goes unchecked, in the sense that they're asleep. The NOC services are always asleep. They never seem to prevent that glitch on time. And then when that glitch goes on to create physical damage to their components, then they start scampering about. Because then the customers start yelling at them, and then they have to send their engineer again, why do you have to make it come to that point where your engineers have to come? And you know what? And why should the engineers listen to the complaints of the people who are pissed off now? Because why? Because the customer service is useless, in the sense that the customer service only gets activated after the customer is pissed off. Otherwise, throughout the whole process, where errors are going on, where glitches are going on, nobody responds. Yeah, nobody responds until shit happens. Yeah, when shit happens, when physical damage takes place, and then the customer loses it, then the customer service comes into play, and then the NOC service comes into play. So, and then the management comes into play. So, they're literally scamming their customers is all I'm saying. And if you've seen the posts on LinkedIn, you will notice how all the customers have exactly the same problem. So again, all the customers have exactly the same problem, and you've never addressed that problem even once. It means you're deliberately letting it happen because to you this is a way you can earn money, maybe. I don't know. And I frankly don't care. But the point is, if this was 100% mine, and it was 100% me dealing with all of this thing, if it was all my decision, my choice, my money, my system, I would have dismantled it the first 2 times at least. So in the beginning, you don't mind when okay, a little glitch happens and all, and then a second, and then okay. But when they start getting more and more careless, when you realize after the first time the first inverter blew up, and then they replaced it with a refurbished inverter, not even a brand new, but a refurbished inverter, that was the time I would have dismantled everything. I would have told them to just take everything back and go. In fact, we kind of did. That time we were all so pissed off that we told them to take everything away, give us a refund and go. But then that time they kept on making promises saying, oh no, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll make sure permanent solution. What is your permanent solution when every 3 months, literally every 3 months, and now it has graduated to every month. Yeah, now it has graduated to every month. I just finished with them at the end of July, and I'm once again stuck with them because once again their glitch has caused the inverter to blow up. And once again, I'm sitting with a buffer inverter waiting for them to repair the inverter. So again, this has been in 2 years. So the lifespan of their inverter is not even 2 years. And they were going around saying that, oh, we have 4 years. Well, now in their new system, they claim that they have 10 years warranty for their whole system, including inverters and everything. Well, good for you. But the thing is, now nobody cares. Because again, you didn't first work out the kinks of your old system with your old clients, and you just moved on to the new ones. And from what I've heard, the new ones aren't very happy either. So it's not like you've improved much in the way of this of your system, I guess, or your software or your integrated system, or whatever the heck it is that you want to call it, your smart flow integration. It has problems, and it's not been addressed, it seems. So, here it is. People, when they buy a product, again, such products which are supposed to be everyday usage, everyday production, like fridges and TVs and mobiles and PCs and laptops and ACs, you want them to just work. You want them to work. You don't want to lodge complaints. You want them to not give you problems, You basically just want them to do their work, and you don't want to have to maintain them. So imagine, this is again one of the reasons why people try not to get backup, as I've mentioned previously in my other podcasts. One of the biggest reasons why people don't want to get backup with their hybrid systems is not just the money that it costs for the batteries, because the batteries are insanely expensive. Again, why? Because we again use lithium batteries. We use those huge ass batteries. We've been using them for decades. So you don't understand why for the solar system they're so expensive when they actually are not that expensive, and they shouldn't be. And so that is one of the reasons. But the second reason is maintenance, because usually with hybrids, when you have batteries, then there was this maintenance problem, which meant calling somebody every 3-4 months, but now obviously there is this battery pack that one of the engineers that I talked with mentioned that it's actually pretty good, and it's zero maintenance, and that is the dryness battery pack. And then it has this really good thing where it can automatically offload heavy load when there's a long power outage, and when its battery reaches to a certain level, and then it maintains the UPS, kind of what we refer to as the UPS load, which is the light load of fan lights and everything. Yeah, so in every way it seems to be working the way it's a dream in a way. So they were suggesting that is actually worth it, and it's also money wise value. It is budget, it's value for money. So okay, here you're going with something again, but again, 5 years warranty. You kind of get a bit confused when you see that, okay, batteries, when they have batteries at least should have 10 years warranty is all I'm saying. Again, inverters and batteries right now, keeping in mind the flow of time, the speed of time, 5 years is nothing. 5 years is like 1 year to us. If you're saying 5 years warranty, in our minds we're computing it's not even a year. You see, this is how fast time flows. This is how fast years are going by. So to you, years are actually months. So now it really doesn't help when somebody says, oh, this is 3 years or this is 5 years, because you're just thinking, oh my God, because as I said, my 6 years with Sky Electric is proof enough that their 4 years of warranty was not enough, So, but when you have other solar systems where you have 10 years of inverter warranty with zero maintenance, you're fine. Here you have 4 years of warranty, and then you have maintenance issues, The last thing that you want is for people to keep coming to your home and checking out, and because you get people like me, especially, I get bound. Do you know how many times I've had to cancel any travel plans just because of the solar system? Because it's strange how during the summer, during the burning heat summers, that is when their system has a problem, so I have to stay. During the winters, at the end of the year, their system has a problem, so again, I have to stay. And the beginning of the year, again, because usually the end of the year translates to the beginning of the year, so those 3-4 months of mine are totally screwed up because of the system's problems or their errors or glitches or whatever. Again, I have to stay here, so I've become a caretaker. Again, when you buy such systems or such appliances or such products that are supposed to be used 24/7, like fridges again, like ACs, like solar systems, you want zero maintenance. I mean, imagine having a fridge where you have to call somebody every 3-4 months to do a maintenance. Why? It's something that you're supposed to use every day 24/7. The exact same thing must apply to a solar system. Because again, you are getting a solar system so that you can be free, not so that you can be bound that every 3-4 months or every month or every 2 months now somebody has to come for maintenance or for preventive measures or for protection measures or for, I don't know, whatever measures it is, or for after damage measures, whatever it is. Why again? Why? The reason again we put such things up like solar systems and all, so that we shouldn't be bothered by anybody anymore. So yeah, I think it's not at all value for money when you're spending twice the amount you would spend on a regular solar system for people like Sky Electric, and then it requires maintenance. No. Why? And then they want you to pay. They want you to pay now every year to keep up maintenance. Again, why? And that is what I caught on to, when they were trying to sell us the system. That is the first question that I asked. I'm like, oh, so you mean we have to be dependent on your maintenance forever? And then they were like, oh, no, actually, no. They were caught, they were literally caught aback, and they were like, oh, no, it's just that, for extra maintenance and this and that, for people to come and make sure the preventive measures and all. So that is why, a yearly subscription would help, but it will be very nominal. The amount will be very nominal. Yeah. They're literally now they want their clients to pay them up to 60,000 rupees per year. That is their nominal 30,000, 60,000, 50,000. This is their nominal fee that they want us to pay for what? For their people to come and start tinkering with our stuff. Seriously? Otherwise, they will not fix your glitches, or they will not fix the errors or anything. But actually now they have become better at that. They are now fixing their errors and glitches regardless. But still, again, oh, we cannot send somebody to you because you're not subscribed to the premium services. Like, as if when I was subscribed to your premium services for 5 years, you gave me anything. You gave me the same shit that you're giving me now anyway. So tell me, what am I getting from being subscribed to? So again, so as I said, that time even I caught on to it, and I said that this to me looks like a scam. And that time they kept on assuring me that no, this is just an extra thing. It doesn't matter. Even if you don't want to, you can forego. You don't have to continue subscribing to it. Regular maintenance at the back end will keep on continuing, and this and that and this. But you see, they try to actually exploit their clients later on, and they literally hijacked their system, trying to force and extort money from their clients. So yeah, this is why I wasn't in favor of this system. But my dad, like any other man, they're always looking at these new gadgets. They're looking at this new technology. They're looking at, there's it's true they made a good sales pitch and everything, but my mind doesn't work that way. I see through these things and I'm like, okay, because to me, as I said, lodging complaints, stressing myself on something that should be running quietly, smoothly in the background, something that should require zero maintenance, for me to think that, there's going to be maintenance, I don't like those things. No. Again, if it was up to me, I would have said a strict no and sent them packing. But it wasn't my money, it wasn't my decision. But I have to take responsibility for it. That's the fun part. So I have to take responsibility for their whole decision for getting this thing. And the worst part is that Sky Electric still, their people, their employees and everything, they still brag about their system. They don't realize that whatever it is that you're doing, imagine a mobile phone. Imagine you using a mobile phone, and it is all software again. It's all software. Now imagine your mobile phone having glitches every 3-4 months and you having to take it to a technician to fix it. Is that mobile phone worth the money? You're going to ditch it the next day. I mean, imagine. This is again why I have a problem with such people like Pantera, Sky Electric, this, that, when they say, there's this, there is that. In fact, even GoodWe has an integrated system, and one of the biggest problems is that it overheats. So most of the customers that have GoodWe, their problem is that, it ends up overheating, and then they have to update the firmware, and then it gets better. But again, why? Again, you see, these things are set up for life. They're like fridges, like ACs, they are set up for life. Solar systems are set up basically for life. That means you have to set up a system that gives you zero maintenance. If you're paying a lot for a system, you're paying so that you shouldn't have to go through maintenance. And so it's an oxymoron, where in Pantera and Sky Electric, I don't know about Pantera as such, I think they don't have maintenance issues. So let's stick to Sky Electric, what I know about. So when you're paying a huge amount to a company, and then it requires maintenance, that is not a good deal. Not a good deal at all. I never thought of it as a good deal, and I still think of it as a very bad deal, especially after 6 years. So I would rather stick to traditional solar systems where it's zero maintenance. Even hybrids are zero maintenance. Even with backup, it's zero maintenance now. So why again, and half the price? Half the price. So again, tell me, why am I spending so much on a system that is causing me distress, and that is forcing me to stay at home and be its caretaker, and it's a system that is constantly demanding attention and maintenance? This is not what you're signing up for when you're installing a solar system. You're signing up for relief, relaxation, zero maintenance. The rules of a solar system are the same, or they should be the same, as the rules for an AC, or especially a fridge. Forget ACs, because ACs can also be pretty dodgy, okay, when it comes to push comes to shove. But let's forget even the ACs. Let's talk about cars, old cars, not new cars, old cars. Let's talk about fridges, okay? Old cars, if they do eventually break down or anything, you know what to do with them. Again, they're mechanical. You can even tinker around yourself. You can find out the fault, you can fix it, and even if you go to a mechanic, it won't cost you much. Things get done. But now with hybrids and with electric cars and with others, where you literally do not know what's under the hood, you cannot open it up, you can't see what's going on, you have to go to a specialized person. They cost the earth, and if your car, God forbid, stops in the middle of the road, you are stuck, you're dependent. Again, why are we buying things that are making us dependent? The whole point of buying such things was to make us independent. So why are you telling me to spend so much money on a system that has made me dependent, on the people who have installed the system? No, that's not how it works. And that is why they're the only ones of their kind. And that is why even Pantera has a zero maintenance system, if I remember correctly. And that is why all the solar systems, they offer you an open, non-proprietary system, so that you are independent, you are free to choose, you're free to upgrade, or you're free to downgrade, you're free to change without costing money. Because again, they have that common sense. Whereas Sky Electric basically does not even realize the fact that they're still bragging about their system, and they're still not listening to people who have complaints, is that they were thinking that they were going to monopolize. This is not something you can monopolize in this way. This is going to cause you losses. It's going to cause your clients losses. Heck, imagine I'm going to end up spending now 3 times more, keeping in mind how I already spent 2 times more. And now if I spend again to dismantle the system and put a new traditional hybrid, so I have again spent more money on just a 5 kV system. A 5 kV system, and I will have spent money that would get me a 15 kV by the time I end up dismantling this and replacing it with another system. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. It would have been better to just get a simple system, simple traditional system, and be done with it, But again, that time they were giving promises of, again, that you will never have problems of breakdowns, because we will always be one step ahead. You will never, we will always be there to fix the problems. There will be this, there will be that, and it will be minimal maintenance. But it's not. It becomes a 24/7 problem when any glitch occurs, or when any any damage occurs, and so you're stuck for months, because they take their time, they take their sweet time to get things done as well. So no, it's not worth it, and it's not something you want. What you want is a fridge that is doing its job quietly for decades. People who are making solar systems components need to think that when they're making hybrid inverters, and I mean, I don't care about your on grid, off grid inverters that have long warranties, because at the end of the day, people at home, they're choosing hybrids for a reason, right? And you're offering hybrids for a reason too. So you need to think long term. You need to think fridge rules when you're making your inverters and your battery packs and everything. So I think it's time that you upgrade your warranties when it comes to hybrid inverters and when it comes to battery packs, and they should have no less than 10 years standard 10 years. And as I said, the way time flies, yeah, no. So, and people like me who hate complaining to people about especially if it's about the same thing again and again and again, it means you are deliberately not rectifying it, and you're going to lose. If it's me, you've lost me the very first time I've had to complain. As I said, I generally don't even complain. I don't even bother complaining when it's all me. When it's my stuff that I'm dealing with, I do not complain. I just shut it down and move on. I don't have time. I don't have time to sit and fight with people, right? If a bank is bothering me, I shut my account, I move on. If a shop has scammed me once, or if a shopkeeper has done something that I'm not satisfied with, or, sold me something I'm not satisfied with, I will not enter that shop again. If a tailor spoils my clothes once, I will not go back to him. I will start buying ready-made. And I've done these things. I've left my old tailors who have been with me for decades, because when they suddenly ruined my dresses, because I usually tend to give 2 to 3 at a time, for example. Sometimes I give only one, but if I give 2 to 3 at a time, that's a deal breaker if you spoil all of them. If you've suddenly got a new student or an apprentice and you've decided that that person should experiment on my clothes, that's a big no. So you've known me for decades, you've stitched my clothes for decades, and suddenly you decide it's okay to give my clothes to one of your weird-ass apprentices who doesn't even know how to cut a cloth properly, and he's given me this deep neck that is literally falling off my shoulder at one point, and then you can't even rectify it. How will you rectify it? By patching the neck up with another piece of cloth? That's not going to fly. I'll be quiet. I'll even pay you what you've asked for, even though I'm thinking that you're shameless enough that you spoiled my clothes, but you still want me to pay you the full price. This is not how old tailors used to work. Again, if you've listened to my podcast on the real master tailors and how they worked. So you're lowering your standards, you're lowering your quality of work, but you're increasing the rates. I'd rather go by ready-made, and that is why actually I don't go to tailors anymore, and I started collecting mostly ready-made clothes. Why? You get an awesome fabric, you get awesome embellishments and awesome stitching, and for very, very less price. Why should I waste my time, stress myself, and get tensed when my clothes are ruined because you decided to experiment on it with an apprentice? So yeah, this is the kind of person I am. I do not like to complain. I just stop going. And the fact that I have been forced to take care of this Sky Electric's drama for 6 years, it has taken a toll on me, because as I said, I hate complaining. And especially if it is something that is so repetitive. If they're doing the same thing again and again and again and again, then I would set the thing on fire. If this thing belonged to me, I would have set it on fire a long time ago. So yeah, so I've actually given my parents an ultimatum now. I'm like, this is the last time I'm dealing with this shit. You better dismantle this whole system. They were supposed to dismantle it last year, so I don't get what happened. They decided to just, put another system up. Fine, you put another system up, but do something with this damn thing as well, so that I can be left alone, So yeah, no, this decision has to be made, because now this is the last time that I'm dealing with them. This is the last time. Then I'm going to lodge a complaint and then fight with them and then make them fix the thing. And then they're taking their sweet time that they'll take another 1 month or so, or a week or 2 weeks. And then again, something will happen because that's how it takes months. They'll repair the inverter, then they'll bring it back, then they'll put it under observation for 24 to 48 hours. And then again, something will happen. And then again, they'll start the whole glitch thing. And then again, and this will take again 1 to 2 months. I cannot keep on living like this, So again, solar people, think fridges. And this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.